All right, hello. We got a daytime video happening here. It's about 9 in the morning. I've been working. I was on the road for a few days, long drives in winter conditions. Yeah, it was interesting. It was, driving over 10 hours a day. Kind of puts a stall into your lifestyle, and I mean, I can understand these how shift work and flip flopping your schedule and just long hours, and it comes into jet lag and sort of. I don't like I don't I'm not coming from a technical term here, but I mean, I'm assuming the further you deviate away from your natural cycle, um, meaning like time zones and different places on the planet as it spins, will definitely affect you. And how it affects you probably depends on quite a few things. I mean, as far as your circadian rhythms, your light cycle, your hormones, and your diet probably have a lot to do with how well you adjust. What I found was I drove from BC to Alberta, basically. Longer drive. Usually it's about, I think, 10 or 12 hours to Calgary from Vancouver, but this time was a little bit longer just because we've had a pretty nasty 2021 in Vancouver. The lower mainland, there's big floods and stuff. The roads aren't they, a couple of the roads, the main arterial highways got washed away. So there's been some slow goes, and through the mountains, you got always wonder, changing weather conditions can change in a matter of minutes. So we got pretty lucky as far as the roads go went. But what I wanted to talk about was that, I found this time being on the road, I mean, usually when I went out, what I found hard to do would be stick to some kind of plan or diet, or like the way you're eating, because once you get out there, you're away from home. You have to sometimes make sacrifices, and sometimes you get into those situations where you might not have a stop or a town for 100 or 200 kilometers. So there's you got limited options, right? You've always probably got Subway and A&W and McDonald's and all those great fast food places that are so convenient, especially through the small towns. That's one thing. You also have the gas station food, like chips and snacks and the sandwiches, and if you've been following my videos, or if you've heard anything I talk, that stuff just doesn't wash with me anymore, and I can't just do it. So what do we do? Well, this trip, I knew it was going to be a longer trip, and what you have in hotel rooms and motel rooms is generally you have a fridge, and generally you have a microwave. So what I did was I prepared for it. I prepared about a 3.5, 4 pound meatloaf, cooked it, wrapped it up, put it in a cooler, and then I roasted two chickens, cut it up into pieces, and roasted the two chickens. That was my meat for the trip. And then I brought a block of cheese, some sauerkraut, and some olives, and I brought my apple cider vinegar and my liver pills. So I had my liver supplements there. So I was getting my organs. I was getting my full nutrition, for the most part. And the suffering, I didn't have to worry about it. So not only am I in control of my food cravings, but I didn't get hungry. Like some days I didn't even eat till 11 o'clock at night. But that was kind of the worst kind of shift. And the downside is your rhythm. We go in cycles, and I'm starting to learn about these a lot more. And it's everything. Your hormones have cycles, obviously for women, but men too. And it's all adjusted by the light. If you're into this very mechanistic science, I'm gonna put a link down below. It's like really, really, it's the Andrew Huberman Lab Podcast, and he's out of Stanford, and he's a neuroscientist and ophthalmologist. So, and he breaks down so many things. It's pretty technical. So, if you want to get into the real how the brain and how your nervous system and there's certain things, he has protocols and stuff, but a lot of it too is, he's saying it like the light hitting your eye is important, especially in the morning. Getting outside, getting light in there sets your sort of your clock and keeps everything sort of on that light cycle on the circadian side of things, where the cortisol gets released at the right times, your epinephrine and growth hormone and melatonin production, and all this has to do with how you cycle the light in your eye. Anyway, a lot of it too is the timing of food is there's a discussion there about what's perfect timing, where, when are we supposed to eat, like early or late, but we're not getting into that. My point is today is I just want to let everybody know that I didn't have to resort to those panic food things when I did this. I had my food prepared and I could eat it when I was ready and convenient, which was a game changer. I mean, it made me feel better. I would stop driving, stop working for the day. I would get to the hotel or motel. I would, heat up my bone broth. See, like right there, that's, it's got so much nutrition. I'm getting ahead already just bringing bone broth. Heat up my bone broth, and then I would eat my, my meat and my chicken and my sauerkraut and olives and, yeah, and you can bring anything. I brought some salami just in case I needed to snack or wanted a snack. I brought some like cut up salami and cut up and prosciutto. Like you can, whatever you want to do. If you wanted to make a little salad and add some dressing, that might be something for next time. But the point is, I got there, I'd eat, and then I try not to go to sleep right away after I eat. So it's kind of, that's a little frustrating, but that's just me. And I ate, and then I would, read for about an hour, do a couple things, study for a little bit, and then go to sleep almost instantly. So even though I hadn't had many, I worked a couple days with the driving, so, we'd have a drop or a load, so it would be an hour or two of work, which is physical, but it's not terrible. I wasn't, not to the point where it'd be any stretch of, physical exhaustion, but I was mentally exhausted from driving at night and in the snow and, keeping, you gotta pay attention and you gotta make it easy, or make it as easy as you can on yourself, so it's a little bit stressful. Now, I think what led me to be able to bounce back so quickly, I mean, I was tired. I got home at, I think, yesterday morning at 5:30 in the morning, and I still hadn't eaten. So, anyway, my point is about food is it was very nice not to have to resort to the panic buying. I even planned it potentially having a cheat. Just kind of having a treat if I could find it, if I was up for it. Once again, showing that intuition control is, I don't let food dictate my life anymore. I'm at the point where I control my outcome because I'm prepared for it and I'm not shocked and I don't get hangry and I don't get cravings. So it's fascinating how this happened, and I'm leaning towards, it was convenient because I could eat one meal as much as I needed to, and I let my body tell me that I was done. I didn't say I'm gonna eat this much today. I just thought I'd make a shit ton of food, and kind of go. I still got chicken in the fridge, and I still got cheese left, and I'm still I ate all the meatloaf, but I kind of shared it with my co-pilot. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway. The point is, we have lost the cook at home side of things. Now it's all convenience. Now skip the dishes, 7-Eleven, 24-hour drive-thrus. And just, we've talked about challenges before. If you just take the time to sit back and realize how much money you're spending on convenience, on stuck, panic, it's pretty, I'm sure you'll find that it's crazy how these cheap budget meals add up all the time. And when you stop needing to go into that panic side of things, you can start living, and you're not tied down to the necessity of eating. You get to choose when you eat. You know how to eat. You know what to eat. You know how much to eat. And if you don't get enough, you know the next meal can be lifted up into the right amount. So we need to get back to basics. Back 50 years ago, all like our grandparents and our grandparents' parents, they ate hearty mealtime meals. You couldn't just go out and get, the odd, sure, I'm sure they snacked a little bit maybe in the cities, but, out in when they're trying to survive, it was mealtime, and they ate well when they could. But I think that might be a thing that's happening now, is that we're just not looking at what got us here. And now we're so far down the convenience side of the road that we can't even cross the street, because it's now it's an interstate, it's a highway, it's a and we need to put a red light right there, stop the traffic, cross the street, and think about how nutritious the food that you're putting into your body is. And if you can't identify a chemical or recognize an ingredient, it's probably terrible for you. I'm not trying to say which thing is better or which thing is worse. I'm just looking at it from an observation side that I've found, that I've witnessed a few people that I've tried to help out. And when they do these things, they feel better and they start to look better. And I'm not talking about body mass. I'm talking about skin, hair, things that you notice little things, your cuticles, your nails. And is there one way to do this? I don't think there is just one way to do things. I think there's a couple ways, but it has to come from a foundation of whole food, real ingredients, real food. Put them together, make delicious things. But this mass production, hyper palatable convenience, it's killing us. And it's obvious, because just look around. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. I mean, I'm sure the people that want to make money and just feed you this garbage all the time are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Look at what happened. Well, let's look at what happened over the last year. I'm going to actually do some research into this. I want to know how these companies, how much money they made off our suffering, because we were stuck at home. We couldn't do the things we wanted to do, but people made money from it. So if you look at it from that perspective, like, they want us to be over consuming. And I want you to take the power back. And hey, if you want to do it from time to time, if you want to have a treat or bring your kids somewhere for fun, bring that magic back. Because when I was a kid and I went to Disneyland, it was a magical thing. It was surreal. It was a fantasy. But what happens when you live across the street from Disneyland? Poor kids. Disneyland becomes a norm. That's what's happened to these fast food chains for us. When I was a kid, we'd go after soccer to I'm not gonna mention one of them, but it sounds Irish. Anyway, we went there, our whole soccer team, and we ran around and played the playgrounds. It was crazy. It was awesome. It was once a week. Once in a while, when if I had soccer practice at night, my mom was busy or something, we'd have it again in the week. That was it. And it's just gone to this level where, get back to cooking. Take one day a week and cook your meals. Skip a meal that you don't have to eat out. If you want to know how I did it, I'm going to get deeper into my story as we go. but I believe that we should not be eating all the time. I think we should be a little bit hungry. A little bit hungry kind of gives you that hormetic, which means a little bit of poison makes you stronger. That hormetic effect that, kind of gives you a little bit of like strength. It gives you a little bit of lift. It shouldn't give you the other way around, panic and like all the toys come out of the stroller and, like yard sale. No, I can't deal with life. It should make you focused. And if you can't skip a meal, I think you maybe need to look at some things. Look at your glucose control. Look at your consumption of vegetable oils. Why not? If it's not working, if you're not feeling great every day, there are things that you can do. You want to feel great every day. Wake up every day feeling great. You have the right to do it. So if you're not waking up feeling great, why? Simple. Start figuring it out. Start trying some stuff. And it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't have to go from 0 to hero. You just have to start trying stuff. One little baby step at a time. And I think it starts with knowing what's in the food that you eat. Great way to start. Start looking at things from an objective viewpoint. Is this really good for me? If I don't eat this, will I feel better? These simple questions. I'm gonna cut it there. Just wanted to, touch base and say that I had a great trip cooking my own food, and it shows. I felt great every morning. Had a good, like a good sound sleep in these hotel rooms. It should have been all, I've never felt like that before, but having my own food really made a difference. Cooking it myself, knowing what was in it, and I think you can do the same thing. And we need to look at this like there's changes we can make that will make us feel better right now. If you need some help, or hey, if you disagree with me, that's cool, man. This is my opinion. It's something I've seen. 46 years old, feeling better than I've ever felt in my life. And then nobody can take that away from me. No one can argue with that. So if you want to know a little bit more, message me, email me. I'd be happy to sit down and have a conversation and talk and maybe try and figure out the pieces of your puzzle. All right, stay strong and we'll talk soon. All right, take care.